So say for example n number of samples, so 100 samples, if I'm taking 100 samples and then if I'm training the network, automatically the network get trained. Okay, and once the network get trained, then when you give the 101th sample, then it will be in a position to say that whether it belongs to Setrosa or it belongs to Virginia. Okay, so this is how a network is being designed and is being trained. So now let's see what are the design steps are. So as I said, you have to collect the data for which we are using. A neural network can be used for classification, it can be used for regression, clustering, and so many applications are there. Let us consider it is being used for classification, in the sense that if I'm going to give the network an apple and orange, it has to classify that. If I'm giving an apple, it has to say apple. If I'm giving an orange, it has to say it is an orange, which means that I'm using this network for classification. Okay. So first we have to collect the data and then you have to create the network. So you have to decide how many number of layers and how many number of hidden layers and how many number of inputs, how many number of features you are going to design. All those things has to be decided by the user, and then we have to configure the network. And then let me tell you about the weights. So we have to initialize the weights and then train the network, validate the network, and use the network. So these are the design steps for neural network. And coming to the implementation of neural network using NN toolbox in MATLAB. So we have a very very salient feature in MATLAB, that no need to create a network or no need to configure the network and all those things, because we have a toolbox here. Once if you go with the toolbox, automatically you can give that whatever the required parameters you want, and then you can train it and then you can get the output. So here, this is the implementation of neural network using NN toolbox. You have to load the data and then you have to select the attributes. You have to decide training, validation, testing data, because say for example, if I'm having 100 samples, I'll be using some 70 samples for training my network, and then remaining 30 samples can be used for testing that network, because with training we cannot come to a conclusion that whether it has been trained properly. So we have to test it. So for testing, we'll be allotting some samples here, and then we have to create a network with the commands that are being available, or with an architecture that is already available in the MATLAB. And then you have to go for training and then testing, and then you have to evaluate the performance.